Hello and welcome. It is Fritz. I am an advanced conversational hypnosis trainer and relationship coach. And today we are doing something really incredible. This is a conversational hypnosis demonstration on healing eczema naturally. And as you can see, it is me here who is the client within the session. And the hypnotherapist here is my colleague Shabnam, who did a phenomenal job in this session. So, as of a bit of a background, what we're going to be working on here, or what I worked on here, was the fact that I was dealing with some eczema on my hands, as you can notice, and it is exactly 3 weeks after the session, this particular session, and now the eczema is 99% healed. There's just a little bit left that needs to be healing, but it's absolutely symptom free. It's no longer itchy. There will be pictures to actually see the before and after of it as well, which is quite incredible. And this healing happened because of this session and the things that we uncovered here. So today I'm going to break down exactly this session and the things that the principles of conversational hypnosis within the session that made it become an absolutely phenomenal session. It's mind blowing to me. And also for you to know exactly what the ACH principles are that allowed for this breakthrough and healing to work. So let us begin.
Tell me what's going on then.
So this eczema in my finger. So the very first thing in any ACH session is really just asking the client, what is the problem, right? And this is exactly what Shandon did. And as you'll see, you will find my conscious conclusions.
Hmm.
I've had eczema on and off since I was younger, and I've had a hypnosis session on it like a long time ago, like 2 to 3 years ago. And what I found back then was it had to do with attention. Like I think when I was younger, I like the eczema kind of like was like me trying wanting to get attention from my parents.
Hmm.
So it had to do with attention, but recently over the past year, it's been on and off, and especially 3 years ago as well, it really flared up in my finger when I was completely stressed out and burnt out from my nursing job. And it kind of came back last year, on and off, and so it's been off or like manageable for like at least 6 months, 6 to 8 months. And then, like last week, 1 to 2 weeks ago, it flared up, but in a different finger. Usually it's on my left finger, but like last week, it was in my right finger, and it's never showed up at this finger before. So this is very typical with all of our clients, right? You ask them what the problem is, and they go into this like conscious rationalization and talking about the symptoms of the problem. And for me, I was talking about eczema. As you can see, it's I'm very conscious, right? It's very much just like rationalization, conclusions about what I think the problem is, going back to old hypnosis sessions that I've had, and it's really just, this is very typical. So expect this for all of your clients because they are going to start rambling, just like I did here, about the symptom. And it is really up to us to see what is underneath this layer of symptom. And as you can see, Shabnam has done such a great job and will do a good job very soon. It's usually in the same finger. So I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure it's like some sort of stress or inner turmoil related because I've not done anything new, no new skincare, nothing.
Hmm.
And so, this is a very good example, right? I said, I don't know what's going on. So I don't know what's going on unconsciously is really what I was trying to say here. And even as someone who is pretty much a master at advanced conversational hypnosis, I personally still cannot figure out because it is an unconscious process. And, as humans, we always have blind spots, right? We can get to the root of our issues. And I did try to get to the root of my issues here for about a week or so, but to no avail for me personally. That's why I sought out Shabnam's help. And so these are the types of things that you really want to look for and think about with your clients, right? Your clients have tried so many things to help them to help them solve their problem. But because we all have blind spots, and the solution and the answers to a problem are unconscious, it is up to us hypnotists and coaches to ask our clients the questions to get to what is unconscious, make it conscious, so that our clients have a breakthrough.
Mhm. So why is it relevant which finger it's on?
Well, because the last one, as you can see, there's like an unconscious smile there, and this is a great question by Shabnam, right? Because I was talking about the finger and why is this so relevant? Is my middle was in my middle finger, and for the last time, I figured out that it really had a lot to do with my anger issues.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, my fuck you finger is what I like to call it. Like the
Yeah.
eczema just shows up in my middle finger on my left side whenever
Mhm.
I feel angry, or like I should say, if I suppress my anger and I don't allow it to flow, like it really flares up and swells up in this middle finger. And now it's in the right middle finger.
So it's
And
still on your
that's
middle finger.
it's still in my middle finger. Out of all the 10 fingers, it's just like the eczema is just in like these two fucking
Your fuck
fingers.
finger.
My fucking fingers.
Hmm.
As you can see here, right? It's, the tone of the session is very much fun, and really Shabnam's just asking me questions about the problem, aka my eczema. Like, why is it relevant that it's in your what finger it is, right? Because she's really trying to get into the conclusions that I have made with regards to this finger. And as I mentioned here, I said that it was on my left hand and it was my fuck you finger. And, I still treat my left hand as my fuck you finger. And I've tried to figure this out myself so many times, but haven't. And so by her just asking me the relevance of the finger, she's allowing me to um, find out and talk through and think about the relevance and of the finger and what actually is happening internally in my thought process.
So how's so it's in your left hand now, is it?
It's always been on my left, but now it's a new on my right.
And how's your left one doing?
Good. Like it's dry, but it's been good. But my right one is really bad. It's probably like the worst it's ever been,
Hmm.
eczema wise, compared to like three years ago.
So you said that, and we figured this out last time, that
Yeah.
your right hand was your left one was to do with repressed anger.
Yeah.
So do you think that it's something different for your other hand?
And this is a great question, right? This is a great question by Shabnam. And what she's done really well here is really just ask me questions about the problem, my experiences about the problem. And as you can see, I stopped a little bit, right? I kind of, she asked me a question that I hadn't really thought about, like, is it different? Because truthfully, before this, I thought it was the same symptoms, but she was like, well, is it different? Such a simple question to ask, but super powerful. As you can see, as you can notice, I'm very conscious. I'm talking regularly at my current speed now. I'm talking pretty fast. And then that question kind of stumped me a little bit. Is it different? Something that I've never considered. As you can see, I'm thinking because that was a great question. Notice that cough. That cough is going to be very relevant in the future, and later on in the session. But coughing is an unconscious moment. So these are the things that you really want to think about within your sessions. It's not really the questions that Shabnam has asked so far have been tremendous. But at the same time, it is the response to the questions that we really want to look for with our clients. So she asked me that question, something along the lines of, is it different? Is this hand different? And it got me thinking, it stumped me, right? And I was looking at that hand that was different. And then I started coughing. which means that she got me. She got me with that question. My unconscious is now starting to communicate through that cough. Um, and then, like I said, really slowed me down just by that one question. I'm starting to trance. As you can see, I am looking at my finger, starting to trance out. And it's just what? 3 minutes into the session and she already got me, which is pretty fantastic.
What is it that you're seeing?
It's slightly better today than when it was. I'm
Hmm.
just um and what that question is, it's very good, right? She principle of ACH is that we keep our client when we find an unconscious moment, which she obviously has noticed. She's just keeping me in that unconscious moment, and by asking me what am I seeing, because I'm obviously looking at the finger, she's allowing this moment to grow, and I'm kind of sort of consciously backward rationalizing here. This may be something different.
Are you angry?
No. Great question. This is like a really good question as well, right? Because what she's really just trying to do here is to see if there's anything different between the two hands, right? And so she's just asking me questions about what's different. And this is a phenomenal question. Are you angry? Like, are you angry right now because for me personally, I have made up this story and this conclusion that is all that the right hand to the new eczema is also anger. So she pretty much just simply, very simple questions here, flat out, asked me, "Am I angry?" And I said, "No." Right. And this is the start of the revelation.
Yeah. So your left fuck you finger's fine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
So you're
actually
not
thought
angry.
it's no, I thought it was anger because it's my left hand, it's my fuck you finger. I mean, my right hand.
Hmm.
But I don't think this one is anger. I think a little bit of anger, not just.
So if it is a little bit of anger, how come your left finger's fine?
Great question to challenge my thinking here. It's not anger.
It's not anger then.
No, not this time.
No.
Look, okay, this moment is very interesting. And definitely kind of rewind a few seconds back to the delivery of how I said that, where I just said it's not anger. Not this time. It's like the delivery of how I said it, is so different, and the tone and the cadence and just how assured that answer was. Um, Goes to show that my subconscious is like, it's not anger, not this time. It's pretty much just saying the actual and like the actual thing that we're looking for, right? Here's me consciously trying to fit this into the anger conclusion that I have made for myself. But my unconscious mind just then and there was just like, it's not anger, not this time. Like, if just again, go back and notice the delivery of how I said that. And these are the things that you want to look for in your clients, right? The changes in their tone and the assurance of the answer, because that is the subconscious mind, right? Like just that the delivery of that of not this time. It's pretty much just pretty much just telling me and Shabnam that, me, I gotta stop making up this shit about it being anger because it's not this time, and it's the subconscious or my subconscious pretty much revealed and said no, it's not anger. Pretty fascinating.
How do you know?
Because the left one is anger, the right one isn't. And see how again, look at that part, that it's very subtle, and just how I said it. The left one is anger, the right one isn't. And it's very, very short, right? It pretty much just told us what this is. It's not anger. It's the left one is anger, the right one is not anger. And you can kind of see my reaction where I was like, what the fuck, right? Like in my face, I was like, what was that? Because it wasn't me consciously saying it. It kind of just came out unconsciously.
Right. The left one is anger, the right one isn't.
And you can see the unconscious nod, right? And these are the things you want to look for. You want to look at your client's body image, right? I mean body language. And so for me, I'm kind of smiling here, like a little bit of an unconscious smile, right? It's kind of like my unconscious is like, yeah, I've revealed it. And you can see the nod and saying no, like I agree, it's not anger. See? Like the how I just shook my head very like firmly. No, no, it's not anger. These are the things that you want to look for. These are like amazing unconscious moments that I'm displaying right now. Quite fascinating.
So what is the right one?
Notice the deep breath. That's also an unconscious moment. And this is a great question, right? So, what is it? If it's not anger, what is it? And there's a pause because we're thinking. But it's really ugly. Like
Okay.
how and that part, how it showed up, this part here is my conscious mind just trying to distract, right? It will do that. You just notice that within your clients when you're especially when you're being asked the kind of tough questions that are very uncomfortable. You can see me like I'm being drawn in, I'm getting really tranced out and I'm trying to fight it, right? Unconsciously. And then the conscious mind tries to be like, it's really ugly, you know. These are very like doing this very typical for clients, especially over analytical clients like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like was really like ugly, like very flaky, um, very itchy, painful sometimes, and like bloody. So these are all conscious, right? These are all conscious type rationales and excuses. I mean, it's symptoms. I'm literally talking about my symptoms. It's ugly. It is very itchy. It was bloody, which are all true, which were definitely symptoms of the eczema. But like it's all conscious information. Ignore this. Ignore this.
Right. So you can ignore it.
Yeah.
It got your attention.
No, it's definitely wanting my attention.
Mm. Definitely wanting your attention.
And what Shabnam just did there was pretty much an echoing, um, an echoing where she took whatever I said. It's definitely wanting to get my attention and just kind of repeating it back and utilizing what I said back to me because this is a big thing, right? It's wanting my attention. That's if you really think about it, that's a weird thing to say. The skin is wanting my attention.
What are you ignoring?
Great question. Sadness.
Mm. Sadness. You're ignoring sadness.
Also notice how I delivered the word sadness, right? It's very much, it's again that assurance of, she asked pretty much what I was ignoring, and my subconscious was like, sadness. She's ignoring sadness, which makes total sense. So it's not about anger, it's about sadness. And
Oh,
as you can see, there's a lot of emotion in my face, right? This is when you know that
hard
you're
to
getting
ignore it
into
when it's
some
showing
really
up
good
there.
this is how you know that you're getting into some really good unconscious territory when your client starts their emotions start to shift. They're starting to become emotional. And you know what again, what Shabnam did, the utilization and just kind of echoing my words back to me. It's sadness. I'm ignoring the sadness.
Ugly. Sadness is ugly.
Oh, his fingers was ugly.
The finger is ugly.
Yeah. And you know, when we're watching it, it may seem very repetitive for the hypnotist to repeat whatever it is that we said. But let me tell you, when you're in that moment, when you're in the client, it feels very different. You actually feel very much validated. Because it is your own words that are being fed back to you. So it's a lot more powerful. So never assume that you're annoying with your client by repeating their own words, because repeating your client's own words is definitely a lot more powerful than us saying suggestions based on our own words, which may or may not resonate with clients, right? If you really notice, what Shabnam has done is really just repeat my own words back to me, and I'm feeling very emotional here, and timestamp, it's 7 minutes. Like, it's not even 7 minutes, and she got me into this very place of transformation. And all of these unconscious moments have already shown up.
What's that got to do with the sadness?
Watch my eyes. The rapid blinking, unconscious moment. More blinking. Watch the eyes. Keep watching my eyes here. So again, if you notice these unconscious moments, like what I just did with my eyes with the rapid blinking, those are the things that you want to look for, right? These are unconscious moments. Like, I can't even try to blink that rapidly like I just did there. It just means that my unconscious mind is in action. My unconscious mind is processing. It is rewiring and rejigging somewhere in my mind and looking for the connections, looking for the associations it has made with regards to my symptom. Now, this is what it's doing. This is rewiring in action. And I know that in some modalities, you tend to over like analyze what the eyes are doing. I know in NLP, wherever your client's eyes are looking has a certain meaning. We don't really care about it that much in ACH, because what we really just care about is keeping our clients in that moment. And that is what Shabnam's doing. She's really just keeping me here in this moment,
Where are you feeling the sadness?
asking me more about the sadness right here, which is weird. Like around my jaw, my face.
Okay. How does it feel?
It's like, um, you know, when you little kids are like about to cry and they're like the bottom of their chin kind of like shakes a little bit. It's kind of cute,
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel cute on me. But that's what it feels like.
like the
It's like,
quivering.
yeah, like my this part's just quivering. Fantastic metaphor, right? This is a great metaphor that I just said, and this metaphor is also going to be symbolic in a little bit, and you'll find the symbolism next. But it's these are also one of the things that you want to look for, not just the emotions that your clients display, but any type of metaphors that they use. So I used a metaphor. It's like when a child is about to cry. This is a metaphor that I have decided to use when I go into trance. I do a lot of metaphors, as you can see later on too, but these are the things that you want to look for. This is how you'll actually learn more about your client. And one of the principles in ACH is your clients will literally tell you how they want their problem to be solved. For me, it's obviously being emotional and releasing the emotions, and also talking through the metaphors. And so this is what you want to look for in your clients instead of you just thinking of a metaphor for your clients, wait for it to organically come up. I'm literally giving Shabnam a lot of gold here by being emotional and finding where it is in my body and giving her the exact metaphor to, because this is how my subconscious likes to solve my own problems,
And are you
which
trying to
is
stop that?
pretty.
Are you trying to stop it? Is it causing any pain?
No pain. I think it's just different because usually I feel sadness in my chest
Hmm.
and it's there a little bit, but I feel it more like around here.
Like when you were a child. Hmm.
Hmm. Brilliantly, right? Like she did this brilliantly, where I was talking about the child metaphor and she utilized that metaphor about being a child, being sad. And it got me thinking, right? I was like, hmm. And you can see I'm trancing out again. And really, this is just the goal in ACH. It's so easy to be like, well, what does she want to do with a child? No, 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 no. All we need to do as ACH practitioners is just to look at our clients and use their metaphor and keep them there. Because as you can see, I will start solving my problem very, very soon.
Feeling it like you were when you were a child.
And what she's done is just, again, she's repeating it, right? Because she saw the unconscious moment based on what she said. And so for when we do our sessions with our clients, and then we find that our clients have unconscious moments based on the words that we had said to them, we utilize that and we repeat it over and over, like she did with a child. And so you can see I've really slowed down again. I'm now kind of like looking down, watch my eyes. My eyes do some very weird things throughout these sessions. So really watch that. I'm giving you very amazing unconscious moments here. See? Let's look at my eyes. It just means that I'm processing, right? I'm processing, I'm thinking about it, I'm putting all the pieces together. You can see the sigh that's coming out. I'm
Okay, what's coming
releasing
up?
as well. She's just asking me what's going on, which is good to
Just
ask your clients
quivering
once in a
again.
while. I
Mm.
don't know if you can see it.
You can feel it though, can't you?
Mhm. Eyes, look at my, like, just, there's a lot going on here. I'm just going to pause this for a moment, but there's a lot going on here. You can see the rapid eye blinking. You can't really see it. You can't really see my jaw quivering, but I kind of remember this part, but I do I do remember that my jaw was quivering a lot. You can't see it that well here, but it was quivering very, very fast at this moment. So there's a lot going here on here. Like my unconscious is really just doing whatever it's whatever it's doing. I can't even explain it. It's 3 weeks post this. I can't still explain what it is. And that's why it works, right? That's why it works because it's a completely unconscious process that I don't need to have conscious explanation for. And this is good. This is a good mindset to have with all your clients, right? You don't need to consciously know exactly what the unconscious mind is doing because it's unconscious, right? Trust the unconscious enough to know that it knows what to do in order to heal the client, right? It is not up to us to find the answers, the conscious answers. It is not even up to the client to find the answers. And to be quite honest with you, I still don't consciously know what the hell is going on here. But my eczema is healed, so I don't care. I'm sighing, another unconscious moment. That's just shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And she's really just keeping
Well, the
me,
body's
keeping
doing
my
what it needs to
attention.
do, right?
Shabnam is just really keeping my attention on this unconscious moment of my jaw quivering, right? She wants me to put my attention on it because the answers are somehow within that shivering. It's just so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Quivering and shaking.
And it's like, that comment, that saying, this is so weird. That's like my conscious mind trying to get back butt in, right? There's this common misconception that when you hypnotize your clients, that the conscious mind is just going to be freely, like no longer going to be around, right? Like you've turned it off somehow. Um, the truth of the matter is the only time the conscious mind is completely gone is when we're sleeping. And we don't want that for our clients, right? If we're going to facilitate breakthroughs, why would we want them sleeping? So you can't 100% get rid of the conscious mind. It will come back in and out, in and out. But you just want to get clients to a place where they're mostly unconscious, which is me here right now, mostly unconscious. Another sigh, more unconscious moments. And this is very
That's
important.
sadness.
It's very important to keep your clients in the silence, right? Because although when you're watching, you're just like I'm just sitting there, but there's so much going on within our clients here. There was so much going on with me during this that it's the silence. It's just going to allow for the processing to occur, which is the most important part of the session.
Does it feel like something that you felt as a child?
And she's just trying to help me put things together, right? The sadness, does it have to do anything with being a child? Because I brought these two things up that may be related, maybe not, but she's pretty much asking my mind to tell us what is it with, like, why did you give us these two pieces of information, the sadness, which is an unconscious moment, and the metaphor about the child? Like, what do these two have anything to do with anything? You can see my eyes going back and feels
Forth.
like I'm leaving something behind.
Hmm. Something.
Hmm.
Do you know what?
Eyes, look at the eyes. Again, I'm going to emphasize the fact that we must allow our clients to sit in this, right? It's sometimes I can feel that it might be uncomfortable to just not say anything, but the whole, you saw my eyes looking everywhere. I'm looking around, I'm sighing. A lot of things are happening. And, this is like the biggest and probably the most important thing you could do for your clients is allow them to sit in it because this is their mind putting things together. Look at my eyes again. I don't know why this is coming up, but I'm leaving my Barbies.
Leaving your Barbies.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, right? Like there's a lot of unconscious processing that's going on. There's a lot of things going on. My mind is looking for like in its massive like database of old events that has happened to me. It somehow came up, and that's why I said it's weird that it's about my Barbies. Um, and you'll find out
Did you like
why.
your Barbies a lot?
Yeah. And
Because
Shabnam's
they
just
were
keeping me
fun.
in this moment with Barbies. I cut all their hair
Hmm.
because I thought that I would be like a good hairdresser, and I was not. And then when my mom saw it, she Mm,
So what did you do with them?
throw them in a box. We're like, as you can see, the conversation is starting to get really weird, right? And this is how you know you're in the right place because it's a very weird association with Barbies, right? And that's right, I did cut my Barbie's hair. I do remember that. But it's very weird for me to bring it up. And remember what the presenting problem was? Eczema, right? With the Barbie's eczema. Somehow my mind has put all of the shit together, and has really like wired all the, like these weird things together. And again, what Shabnam has done very well here, is just keep me in that metaphor. Like it's weird to be talking about Barbies, but here she is talking to me about Barbies because my unconscious mind decided that it was going to tell me about these Barbies.
You threw them in the box.
Yeah.
That made you sad?
Guys, more like I didn't want them anymore.
Okay.
Like I'm over them.
Are you over them?
The Barbies, yeah, it's been a long time.
Mm. So what is it that you're not over?
Great question, right? It's this is how weird the mind is in its associations, right? Weird is the best word for it because the session is really weird. And it's really weird seeing myself talk about this now. But the mind has somehow associated putting Barbies in a box, moving on. And then, like, what are you not ready to, like, I forget now what Shabnam asked, but it was a really good question. And it made me think a lot, right?
That you've left behind?
Fantastic, fantastic. And all she's done really is like she is not making up words for herself. She's really just using what I've used, right? I use, it feels like I'm leaving something behind. That was the initial thing that I said. And she's pretty much come back to ask me, well, what are you leaving behind? What are you moving on from? Which, if you know my story, you probably have an idea as to where that's going.
Okay.
As you can see, there's a lot of tears.
Take your time. Fritz, you know what you left behind. So maybe you're not over. So
I don't think I've accepted how fast I move on.
you haven't accepted how fast you've moved on.
Mhm.
Have you moved on?
In many ways, yes. In some ways, no.
Mm-hmm.
In the many
Okay.
ways, I have moved on. I don't know if I fully made peace with it.
You don't know if you're fully at peace. What makes you question that?
Another great question. Because still feel somehow that I'm tied to the past.
You're tied to the past.
Yeah. Like a
With
string.
with a string.
Like I'm another metaphor, right? It feels like I'm tied to the past with a string. That's a classic metaphor. And again, these are the things you want to look for. And obviously, Shabnam had had noticed it because she's awesome, and she has pointed it out. Okay, so like now you're talking about a string. You're talking about Barbies not so long ago, and now it's a string. And this is really just fascinating how the mind works, right? Because if you look at it this way, the brain has trillions and trillions of neural connections. It associates things very certain very certain ways depending on the experiences that we've had. So, throughout this session, we've talked about so many themes now. We started with eczema, and now we're talking about anger versus sadness. And then now we've gone down to Barbies, and now we've talked about moving on from the past, and now we're talking about strings. Like it's really like this whole spider web that the mind has made with me with regards to eczema itself is really fascinating if you think about it. It's really weird, and it's really you don't really know for sure, right? Like I'm pretty sure Shabnam did not know that I was going to bring up Barbies and strings and sadness and moving on, maybe the moving on part. Um, within the session of eczema, but here it is, and that's why hypnotic scripts are not the best thing, right? Because if like I mentioned before, I have had a hypnosis session where I did receive a recording for the eczema, and what it had was the symptoms. What it had were the just the commanding of my body to heal itself, which can have some effect, but really and truly that's not what the problem is. The problem is me, somehow my mind associating all these things to strings and Barbies and sadness and moving on. How those all tied together, I don't know. My mind just did it. That's why it's really important to explore this and really just allow yourself in your sessions to go with the flow with the clients, because the client's mind is smart enough to give you that information and piece everything together. It's like a
Mm.
balloon. It's not a
Right.
balloon, but a blimp.
Uh-huh.
Now we're talking about blimps, like just ready to like float. But there's a string
Hmm.
that's still tying me. Kind of looks like this.
Right.
It's tying me down like an anchor.
Right. It sounds like if it's attached to you and it's floating above, aren't you the anchor?
Great question, right? Another great question. Shabdam really killed it in this session. You can see more unconscious moments here of really, really deep breath, pondering, really thinking about the question. Look at my eyes again. She's really just helping me put the puzzle pieces together. It's kind of like, the mind tries to give us all of these things, giving us all the associations, and she's like, all right, like put it all together, right? Are you the anchor? Like, where are you in all this? You talked about the anchor. Are you the anchor? Like, what? It's really just exploring what the mind has, the associations the mind has made, so that it can see the inaccuracies, see the flaws within the connections that it has made, so that it can rewire itself. Really, that's really the point of conversational hypnosis sessions and doing this and focusing our clients' attention on the problem and using their own metaphors to help them deal with the problem.
Are you?
I think I am. There's really nothing stopping me from letting it go. I mean, there is.
What is?
But the eyes, just keep watching my if you're not noticing anything, just focus, like keep your eyes on my eyes the whole entire session. It's a very it's one that's been communicating a lot. First, I thought certainty, but it's not it.
No. So you're the anchor. The past is like this balloon or something attached to like a very thin string.
Mhm.
You want to keep holding on to it? Is it something you want to keep?
I don't even see where it's like I am the blimp and this string is like a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even see it attached to anything, you know? It's
So it's
just like hanging.
just hanging,
Yeah.
but it's attached to you and it's just hanging.
Like there's no like no anchor. Like there's nothing below it pulling it down. It's just this it's like it's hanging.
Mm. So what use is it then?
Nothing. It's just there.
Does it
So
need to?
like no, it's just a string.
Mm. Do you want to keep it?
What Shabnam has done here very, very well is just really keep me in this metaphor by asking me questions about whatever it is I'm seeing here about like the blimp and the it's funny now. It's funny now that I look back at this. I actually don't remember parts of of this, which means that it's been unconscious. But you know what she's really doing here, and if you you know learn ACH in the trainings that we do, the biggest principle that we teach you is just keep your client in the problem. And this is a very amazing example of her keeping me in this metaphor, right? She's not trying to formulate her own story about the blimp and the string. She's really just asking me questions about it, like what is it attached to? Like, do you want it? Do you not want it? What's it doing there? And she's just keeping me in this whatever it is I am visualizing um as a metaphor in my mind. And she's done a completely beautiful job with this. So it's like, you know, when you buy clothes and they have like the price tag
Mm-hmm.
string,
Yeah.
it's like wearing clothes with that stupid string on. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Like you've taken the tag off, but like that stupid string, is that like that's like one of my pet peeves. Like seeing
Mm.
people, you know, still have that stupid string.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Well, that gets uncomfortable too, doesn't it? Makes you itch.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Brilliant, right? What she said there was bring it back to the symptom of the eczema, itchy, right? The like it's so weird when you think about it. It's I mean I'm talking about this string, and then now I'm somehow talking about clothes, you know, those tags and clothes, and it's not having attachments to it, and it being itchy, because you know it's uncomfortable to have that extra tag there without anything. And what has been itchy as my symptom, eczema, right? And so that's just how like weirdly convoluted my mind has made this up to be. And she did an amazing job there trying to put the two and two together.
So it annoys you when people have it. What would you tell people to do?
Cut it off
Mm.
or like just remove it.
Remove it.
And again, you know, biggest principle in ACH is that we never tell our clients what to do. And this is what, you know, Shabnam has done beautifully as well. This whole video should be a I love Shabnam video because she did an amazing job, and she really applies the concepts of ACH very well, where she doesn't tell me what to do with the string, um but she is just putting my attention on whatever metaphor I'm giving and allowing me to put the puzzle pieces together, because it is my mind who is the smartest resource here, right, to solve its own problems.
So what's the reason you haven't removed it?
I guess I didn't realize it was there at first.
Of course, if it's behind you or somewhere you can't see, then
Yeah.
you wouldn't know. So now that you do know, what do you want to do?
Remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, great question, right? So now that you know about it, what do you want to do with it? She's not telling me to remove it, which is, she's not assuming that removing it is the best choice for me. She is giving me that option. She's giving me that choice. And as you can see, I'm very relaxed. There's no resistance here. Personally, I am someone who is quite over analytical and I don't relax very easily. I don't like being told what to do as well. And so if people give me suggestions, I will very much resist it because I'm very stubborn. And so the best thing about ACH is that we never tell our clients what to do. We give our clients options, right? So what do you want to do about this? Because it's not really up to us as coaches and hypnotists to tell clients what to do. What if removing this tag is the worst thing for me, right? Obviously, I said I want to remove it, but what if your clients say, no, I want to keep it on and attach a label onto it? You won't know that. And if you assume that removing it is the best for the client, we could be missing out on an amazing transformation by telling our clients to remove the tag when all they need to do for themselves in their mind is to add a different label to it or something like that, right? It's really not up to us. It is up to the client to decide, because it is up to the client's mind to solve their own problems. We never assume anything. We give our clients the choice as to what they want to do with their own
How do
resources.
you do that?
It's like, just cut it off.
Yeah. Just cut it off. Easy as that.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I cut my hair too yesterday.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's good.
So I think
Mm-hmm.
I've already to cut it off physically
Right.
with my hair. Because like the past week I was just like, just cut your hair. Like there was just this big desire to cut my hair and I did it yesterday.
So you physically
Because
cut it off.
yeah,
Mm. So what's left then? Not physical.
I guess it's more like the emotional
Mm.
bond to it.
Is that what makes you sad? Yeah. Because it is sad, isn't it? So
As you
totally
can see
sad.
here, and as you can see here, the sadness reappeared again, and this new symbolism of cutting my hair apparently physically, obviously, was a big thing. And if you kind of take a step back, we're not really sure what's going on in the conversation, like consciously, right? We're just going from metaphor to metaphor to metaphor. We're not really having a conscious discussion as to exactly what I am cutting off or holding on to, what I'm moving on from, or yeah, what I want to cut ties off with. And we don't really 100% know what it is that I'm still emotionally bonded to. All I know is that there is an emotional bond there. And sometimes it's very difficult to let go of the fact that we don't need to know what it is. I'm going to repeat that. We don't need to know exactly what it is that our clients are. If this is your client, you don't need to know exactly what they're moving on from, exactly what they're cutting ties with. Their subconscious mind knows exactly what it is. And by adding some sort of conscious rationalization of what they're letting go what they're trying to let go of. For example, if you assume that here I am trying to let go of being a nurse or something, right? You can't really know that for sure that that is what I'm letting go. And to be quite truthful, I didn't really also know what it was until 3 days later, what exactly I needed to let go, and what I have emotional ties with what, like whatever this is that we were talking about. I really didn't consciously know what that was until 3 days because that's part of processing. And so when you are sitting with your clients, you don't need to consciously know. You really just need to um you really not just kind of you really need to trust your client's subconscious that it knows exactly what is holding on to, what ties it's cutting off, what it's moving on from. And just based on that, that's how you're going to deliver that session, and that's how you're going to follow the whole session moving forward.
Feel it, let it pass through.
My teeth are literally like quivering.
Mm.
It's also one of the signs where
Take your time.
it's working,
It's
right?
been there
Like
for a long time, hasn't it?
my teeth are quivering, and this is a completely unconscious process. You can't see it, but if your clients tell you that their teeth are quivering and they can feel it, that's an unconscious process, and that's how you know that the unconscious mind is doing whatever it needs to do, because we just don't quiver consciously, right? It's a complete unconscious process. So that's how you know that your session is also working when your clients are experiencing things like this, such as the coughing a lot. You can see me taking really deep breaths and sighing. You can see my eyes going around. These are unconscious moments. You can see a lot of emotion, a lot of tears. I'm like this moment in time within the session. I'm very much my unconscious is pretty much taken over. Like there's not a lot of like conscious rationalization. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of metaphors. So my unconscious is completely taken over, which is a great thing, because that's where the rewiring happens, and that's where the real magic happens, right?
Yeah.
And what
You can
Shabnam
do
just
it
said there,
gently.
it's been there for a long time. You can do it gently. These are good process instructions that you can give your clients. That you can do it gently. You don't have to completely let go of it that quickly. So do it
Feel
gently
good.
is a good process instruction,
Oh,
or
that's
some could
Alice just
say
come through.
some you know some people would say that it would be a suggestion, but what we call in ACH we call it process instruction. Like just make sure you do it gently. You can see me processing in my eyes again. Watch my eyes. You watch the REM that's going on in my eyes. Really, really weird looking. But you can see me processing, right? This is unconscious processing at like this is the best example for it, right? You can see my eyes going into REM spontaneously. I didn't need to look up, um, take 3 deep breaths, and then close my eyes as my eye is up, looking in between my eyebrows. There's no forced REM, forced induction of a REM. This is complete unconscious processing where my eyes are open and my eyes are doing the rapid eye movement thing. This is fantastic. This is complete unconscious work going on.
You're feeling itchy on your face.
Now I just try to touch it because it's
Mm-hmm.
like really like shaken
Yeah,
inside. It stops when I touch it.
I do need to stop it.
Your eyes again. It's uncomfortable.
Mm. It is uncomfortable. What if you just let it stop by itself? What would happen?
Very interesting thing what happened there, right? Where I said when I touch it, it stops. So I'm trying to like influence it consciously. And then Shabnam asked a great question of, what would happen if you just allowed it to happen and not try to stop it. And you can see how my unconscious pretty much reacted with the whole eye fluttering thing again and me like trying to move my body again. I'm pretty sure I don't remember this during the session, but pretty sure this was a good reaction to that possibility. It's just giving the unconscious mind and the conscious mind a choice, and the unconscious mind saying, yes, please do not stop fucking around with with what I'm doing right now because this is helping. The eyes again.
It's normally that quiver you get in your chin, your bottom lip. You're trying to hold it in, isn't it? Trying not to cry, trying not to release it. And you see little kids really quivering their bottom lip.
Mm-hmm.
The jaw feels heavy. I wonder what would happen if you just allowed it out by itself.
Another tip here, as you can see, my eyes are like going all over the place, right? It's just blinking all over the place. And if, I'm obviously very, very transed out here, so this is a different scenario. But say, for example, you're just talking to your client and their eyes are like going crazy. You can really see these unconscious moments, but they're blabbering consciously, like they're talking too much. A good way to kind of stomp them and throw them off their track is to place their attention on that unconscious moment while they're being very conscious. So, for example, their eyes are fluttering, they're talking to you, just be like, wait, what's going on with your eyes? You're blinking really rapidly right now. That's a great way to get your clients to stop and focus on that unconscious moment, which will get them into a trance. So just that's an example. Obviously not applicable here because I'm very much unconscious, like unconscious and completely tranced out here at this time.
Doesn't matter if it's ugly, does it?
Pretty ugly. You can kind of hear the ugly theme again, right? Like the ugly for the eczema and the ugly cry, right? Is what I like to think about it when your jaw is quivering, like that kind of ugly cry that we do. That's an unconscious process, and it's really just about having fun with this. And as you can see with the tone of the whole session, it's very light, right? I am going through very, very intense emotions here, but somehow we're still laughing, we're still kind of making jokes, and it's very light, even though it's really intense at the same time. And this is what I completely love about ACH, right? It's not just intense. It's like it flows. It's playful. It's fun. It gets to be both and all of it.
Just sadness needs to go somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It can't stay there.
it's just so sad.
It is sad, yeah. So sad. That hurts. Hurts a lot. What's it sad?
Again, Shabnam's just keeping me in that sadness, right? I'm focusing in on the sadness because obviously I need to let this go. I needed to let the sadness go. So she is just giving me the space and focusing my attention on the sadness so that it releases because that's what it's been wanting to do the whole time, and I've ignored it.
You're not a little girl anymore. You can handle it.
And
You
as you
can
can
allow
see,
yourself
Shabnam,
to feel it.
and as you can see, Shabnam's kind of doing this whole like kind of storytelling as I'm in this trance, and she is very skilled. But what she is really doing with these stories is that she's utilizing the things that I've already given her. I've given her the little child thing, right? No longer a little child because I've mentioned that before. And it's good to do these things at the right time, and you'll intuitively know when to be quiet or when to tell your clients a story or give them a suggestion that is based on utilizing what they've already said. And so this is something that is it's kind of like an art form, right? You get to play around with it and play around with your clients as long as your client, as long as what you're saying and what you're suggesting doesn't pull them out of that trance, then keep going with it, right?
You know, you can deal with it. It is sad. So sad. That's it. Let that sadness out.
A few days ago when I looked at this finger,
Mm-hmm.
it was very like gross
Mm-hmm.
because and I could still kind of see a little bit now, like with there's like fluid trying to come out.
What's trying to come out?
Fluid,
All
like
right.
tears trying to come out.
Mm. Well, it's
It's really interesting, right? There's that quote where, don't quote me on this, but it says something along the lines of um, something that emotions or feelings that cannot be expressed in tears will cause other organs to weep. And this is exactly what happened with me, right? There were a lot of emotions that I needed to process. And although I do still up until this date, and even the days surrounding this, I was pretty much doing yoga every day to release the emotions. There was still something unconscious that I couldn't tap into myself. That needed to come out, and that's why I sought out Shabnam's help to help me with this because um, I just knew that there was something off. And in terms of the eczema, my personal experience with the eczema, it really does show up when I'm extremely stressed out and there's a lot of unprocessed emotions that I feel I've pent up for a very long time, or at this moment, a mix of some old things and current things that are happening in my life. And so when as humans we don't allow ourselves to express emotions, that's why feeling our feelings is so important. That's why people say to feel your emotions. This is why, right? Because it will show up in other areas in your body or in your life through disease. And this is what happened here with me, but for me it turned into eczema.
just let them tears come out from the right place.
Yeah, it's not where it goes. So tears come out.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't let it come out the proper way.
Yeah, that's okay.
And as you can see, there's a lot of tears in the session, right? You don't really fully see a lot of the tears, but I mean, I was here, I cried a lot. So there were a lot of tears that came out in this session, and this is exactly what I just needed to do, right? I needed to release all of that pent up emotion, and obviously it's a very cathartic experience, and that's why we need to feel our feelings because it shows up elsewhere.
There's plenty of time for that. You can do it now. You can do it again later if you need to. How's your finger feeling?
It does still doesn't look the best. I mean, you can't
Mm.
really see it because of the
Well, it's been carrying it for a few days now, hasn't it? All of a sudden.
yes, around a week or two.
Yeah.
It was swollen
So
at 1.2. It's like I
mm,
wanted to burst.
that's not the right place for it to come out, is it?
Well, I
Just
mean,
a lot.
I did have a good cry a few days ago, so I
Mm.
think that helped it. It got slightly better after that.
So what's going on now?
My teeth are still shivering, but not as fast.
Hmm.
It's slowed down a lot.
Slow down itself.
Hmm.
Yeah. Didn't have to stop it, did you? That's the thing. It's not going to do it forever.
Yeah,
You
it's
have to
still
tell
coming
your
out.
body. Yeah. Your body's so smart, isn't
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
it?
So that is it for part one of this demo. And as you can see, there's a lot of emotional release there, a lot of things going on for something like eczema, right? Which we may or may not think could be something to do that with psychosomatic type causes or root causes. And for me, I know myself, and this was definitely something psychosomatic. But let me tell you, I did not expect the things to come out just there to be what the cause is. And then at this point, we do have a very clear picture as to what the root cause of my eczema is, and it's definitely the release of these pent up sadness of that I have been keeping underneath and for the most part ignoring and letting go a little bit, but ignoring some, as I said here. But the real thing about these sessions is that one principle of ACH is to really just always start it. We don't prep because we always start with what's the problem, and as you can see, the problem was eczema. But look how really, really, really deep we've got in. Although we don't consciously know what I'm actually holding on to, what I'm anchoring myself down in, what I'm moving on from, what it is that I'm having trouble letting go of. It really doesn't matter, right? Because my subconscious obviously knew, and it knew to just release the things that it wanted to release. And as I mentioned before in this session, I actually didn't consciously know what exactly I was holding on to. I had some ideas, but the actual clarity of me going, oh, this is exactly what I needed to let go of. This is what's causing me the sadness, didn't happen until 3 days later. And this is very typical for ACH, right? Inside an ACH session, you as the hypnotist and the coach, your job is to get your clients to this place where there's not a lot of thought, but all but tons of unconscious things going on. And this is what sets the parameters for your clients to start finding those answers. This is what sets the parameters for for the mind to look at the previous associations and reassess the necessity of these associations, right? And I talk a lot about unconscious payoff in ACH, and in this session, you can kind of see already what the unconscious payoff with was of the eczema, right? It was because there was tons of unprocessed emotions, particularly sadness, that I needed to release. So the payoff of having the eczema was a method that my body thought was good it was an outlet to release, right? And so, really fascinating. This is what you look for in a client session. And this whole clip is only half an hour, really, from the start. You saw the start of it. It said this is only half an hour, and we got through so much deep information, so many breakthroughs, so many unconscious moments in such a small amount of time, different themes, although we don't consciously know the themes yet. Again, it doesn't matter to know what the conscious interpretation of it is. It's the client who needs to know what that is. As coaches and hypnotists, we don't know. In this particular circumstance, I know what the conscious interpretation is, I will tell you about at the end of the second demo breakdown. So make sure you actually you actually watch that too, because the actual reason and root cause I will reveal in the next breakthrough video. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was really weird, but so much fun to see. And I hope this helped you see what unconscious moments really are, because I showed it very, very well in this part. And so if you have any questions, any comments at all with regards to this session, definitely let me know. Well, otherwise, I will see you in the next one.